A very good morning. Very good morning, dear participants who have been joined through Microsoft, Zoom, and also YouTube. It's been a pleasure to meet you all once again in this industrial empowerment session. As this month we have been celebrating our World Environmental Day, we want to give you a different flavor how we can able to contribute to the environmental aspects, not only by planting trees, but also how well as industries we can able to contributing well towards understanding these aspects and impacts. Today, the program is being going to be on different flavors. Before that, INVTY, Invent, Innovate, and Inspire. By your supports, we have been crossing 82 sessions on this industrial empowerment session, and also a lot of world-class training models have been developed. Okay, by your support, thanks for that. INVTY has been having a 4 verticals, starting from INVTY Audit Wing, INVTY Training Wing, INVTY Research Wing, and INVTY Health and Wellness Wing. With this, we have been into our today's sessions, environmental guardianships on unveiling the power of aspects and impacts. Before going into the session, it made us, our research team made a lot of research while we have been declaring this topic, how we can able to contribute our knowledge towards the betterment of our environment. So aspect and impact. So they came out with a tool called, as we have been having this ISO 14001, most of the industry will be going on, or they will be in a high of going for the ESG. So this aspect and impact, once you have been understood this aspect and impact in a very greater way, it will be contributing to a very greater extent. And also we can always create a continuous improvement on our environmental guardianship. So for this, we have been having this session today. And extending this on behalf of INVTY, we have been wishing you all a World Environmental Day, and also we have been planned to plant 500 trees across 500 schools in Chennai. If you are also have been interested, you can also be a part of this wonderful moment. So aspect, whenever we are going to talk about this aspect will have multi-dimensional view. First, we have to understand that before we have been concluding that these are my aspect in my industries. Aspect, whenever we are going to talk about a kind of aspect always ensures that it may be the organization product, or it may be the services which has the potential. This is most important thing. Whether it is the organization product, organization activities, any element in the organization has the potential to interact with environment, or it can able to create a impact in the sustainability. So it's not only going to be my product, it's not only going to be my service. We also have to ensure that my activities which I perform in my organization also, for example, for a plant expansion, I'm going to cut, some of the trees. It's the organization activities. If that activity is going to create an impact, it's going to create an impact to the environment, or it's going to create an impact with the sustainability. Sustainability, you have to ensure that you have to have 2 ways. The positive side and also the negative side. So whether it is going to affect the sustainability or whether it is going to improve the sustainability. It's going to add more flavors to sustainability. So all these parameters, we have to consider this as an aspect. My product, my service, my activities, the elements in the industries. So whenever you are going to capture this, have this in your mind, stating that it is not only my final product, it is not only the service, we also have to consider list of activities. I can also able to give you another example. Whenever, our STP, ETP plant, has been done for a maintenance, the waste, the sludge, which has been collected out of it, where it has been stored. It's also one of the activities, right? It is also one of the activities. So it also has to be considered as a part of aspect only. Why? It is having the potential to interact with the environment, and it is also having a potential to add to the flavors of the sustainability. So with this, we have to ensure that aspect has this many dimensions. You have to cover all these dimensions while you are going to record, while you are going to understand the aspect in your organization. So making the things very easier, I'm going to integrate this aspect with ESG concept. So you can able to have another flavor how we can able to add this aspect and impact whenever you are going to prepare the ESG documents also. While you are going to consider this aspect with respect to environmental elements, these are the several elements you have to consider as an aspect. Starting from environmental impacts, the products or services which you have been using in your organization, what is going to be my water usage, greenhouse gas emissions, waste generation, what is the pollutions, pollution. Whenever you are going to talk about pollution, make sure that you are going to have three dimensions: air, water, and soil. Next, the biodiversity and ecosystems, hazardous materials and chemicals, very, very important. The aspects of the materials which you have been having, the materials which you have been using to make your final product, the chemicals which you have been purchasing. At least you can able to start, okay, so at least you can able to start from the hazardous chemicals you have been having right now in your industry. How well it is going to be, okay, create a impact in the environment of your organization. First, my eye should be whether I've been having a potential, I've been having an eye opener in such a way that whether I can able to add all this element in the aspect. Whenever you are going to have the environmental aspect, which has been monitored in a right way, the ecological footprints, okay, always the organization can assess the ecological footprints in a very better way. And also, as an organization, as a corporate, we can always ensure that the environmental harm which we have been causing on, it can be reduced. This is the first thing which I'd like to register to yourself, the sustainability, environmental sustainability. How this environmental sustainability can be maintained? Environmental sustainability can be maintained only if I've been aware that all these things has to be registered, has to be monitored as an aspect whenever I'm going to prepare my ISO 14001 document, or if you have been going for your ESG reporting system. First part. Next part, integration of aspect with my social aspects. Okay. List of aspects we'll be having on. Okay, make sure that how well you are going to add this flavor. Starting from the impacts which has been created by your employees, health and wealth, human rights, stakeholder relationship. All this, we have to ensure that what is the aspect. Okay, make sure that all this have been captured under aspect, and based on this aspect, what is going to be my impact. Here, I just want to add another flavor of your employee happiness index. Whether your employee happiness index, it also can be captured as one of their aspect with respect to the social pillar. Here, again, I want to add you some more things. As an organization, you all will be going for the employee check, okay, annual employee health check. In this annual employee health check, how well proactively, okay, proactively we are engaging our employees, stating that, okay, if this is going to be the value for next 3 years, you have been in a age of getting diabetes. You have been age in the of getting high blood pressure. So as a organization, how well I'm going to contribute to that category of peoples who have been aged for that, because there are, okay, at the end, they are going to be our employees. So whenever you are going to evaluate this social aspect in a better way, you can always ensure that the positive culture in your organization has been maintained and the responsibilities and authorities have been maintained in your organization. Next, we are going to integrate this aspect with the governance part. Governance plays a very major role. With this, the aspect with respect to the legal compliance, the risk management. Again, I'm telling you, whenever I've been going to spell out this word called risk management, okay, make sure that it's for any kind of ISO or any kind of the framework which you have been preparing on. Okay, preparing on. Whenever you are going to have this, okay, risk capturing system, my humble request, go for ISO 31000 and have the complete flavor out of it. So you can able to ensure that you have been capturing the right risk for that particular thing. So these are the different kind of aspects which you can always able to capture on governance environment. If you are going to have a very good aspect system with respect to governance, we can able to ensure that the decisions making which is being done by your governance is being foolproof, and also the governance of your organization is being very strong. Next, the economic aspect. Many of the time we see that the environmental aspect, the social aspect, and the governance aspect. Many times we may forgot this aspect also, economic aspects. Very important thing which the vitamin, okay, AM always play a very major role to run our organization. So make sure that the aspect, whenever we are going to talk about the aspect point, the aspect point also covers this financial, okay, economical aspects also. How well we are going to contribute to the local communities. How well the value is being generated, the value is being distributed. All this is been coming under economic aspects. The next major thing which I like to, okay, my suggestion is based on this aspect is materiality. Okay, why this aspect is being more important is such a way that whenever you are going to capture the aspects in 360 degrees, it's going to give you a lot of benefits. It's going to give you that how well your organization has been, okay, performing, how well you have been capture the interest of your stakeholders, and also it's going to give you that which aspect you have to complete first. Yes, there are a lot of aspects is there. What are the aspects is having a higher impact? What are the aspects has been having higher impact towards the environment or towards my vision, So make sure that this aspect materiality is one of the very important factors. Whether after the session, my humble submission, okay, go to the documents which you have been captured your aspect. Make sure that whether I've been captured the aspect in 360 degrees. If not, always start on, okay, start on and make sure that you have been capturing the aspect this many format to helpful that make sure that your organization have been running in a right way. Impact. Okay, first we saw about what is aspect. We saw that aspect is going to be not only the product, not only my service. I'm also going to consider my elements, and also I'm also going to consider my activities carried out in my industry. Now we have been slowly into the impacts. What is going to be the impacts? Whenever we are going to talk about this impact based on the human activities, or it can be, okay, impact based on the human activities which we have been doing, or it's also based on the natural events. So whenever we are going to talk about environmental impact based on the natural environment. What is going to be the effect on, okay, natural environment? And also we have to ensure that this impact can be done based on various activities, starting from the process which you have been having in your industry, starting from the supply chain, starting from the, okay, construction, and also we are going to talk about a lot of natural calamities also. So whenever I'm going to do this, what is going to be the impact here? the key word, the buzzword we have to understand is impact. It's not only going to be the impact today or tomorrow, the long time impacts. Okay, we have been talking about climate change, a long time impact. If I be going to do the same things, carbon emission is going to be there, the long time it's going to be we have been talking about the climate changes. So whenever you are going to talk about this environmental impact, make sure that whether based on my activities or based on the natural events, how well it is going to be create an impact in my environment. The environment, the impact can be for a shorter time, or you can able to feel this impact after 5 years or after 10 years also. Whenever you are going to talk about environmental impact also has to be considered in this dimension. Changes and alteration. Any kind of changes and alteration also. What is going to be my change? Okay, I think 8 months before we had ESG reporting for OEM. For one of the OEM which has been located at Varagana. Why we have been talking about this environmental impacts? The HR manager told us that once we have been constructed this plant 7 years before, there are a lot of butterflies which has been there in the industries, but slowly the process starts running. We can't be able to see that much of butterflies. Now it is very rare to see this species itself. It's also an impact, is it right? Some ecological imbalance we may be created. We may be created, but we have been not aware about that. It is also an impact. Why I have been given this example to understand that it is not only going to be the real big impact. The impact can be a change and alteration also. Both the ways. We have to consider as an environment how well this changes and alteration. If this changes and alteration is for good things, the next point which I have been mentioned here is positive and negative effect. When the change and alteration is for good, the positive thing, yes, is good. Whenever it's going to be for negative impact, yes, I have to consider this. So this impact, here we have to understand that this impact is not only, we have to capture only the negative sides. No, it's not like that. We can also able to capture the positive impacts also. Why the positive impacts have been more important to be captured? Any reflection? Why we have to, whenever you are going to capture the impact, why you have to address whether it is a positive impact or whether it is a negative impact? Any reflections from your side? Why the impact has to be classified? I got an answer from, good. My dear friends, yes, as I told you, whenever you are going to know whether it is a positive impact, the next surveillance audit, the next review which you are going to have, you have to ensure that whether your positive impact has been maintained and whether this positive impact has been added more flavors to that. Or otherwise, what will happen? Most of the times, the positive impacts on 2023 may not be your positive impact on 2025 unless you have a steady process to monitor and to add flavors. For this purpose only, we told that as we are going to capture impact, we have to ensure whether it is a positive or whether it is a negative impact. Next, we are going to talk about a small example of a manufacturing firm, whether it is an aspect or impacts. Whenever we are going to talk about energy consumptions, energy consumption can be a greenhouse emission, it can be a climate change, all this aspect. Based on this aspect, what is going to be, whenever I've been going to talk about aspects of energy consumption in all the ways. My impact is going to be the greenhouse emission and the climate change. Here, the greenhouse emission, we have to ensure that how we have been monitoring in our industry. Okay, while we are talking about ESG, this is the buzzword here. Waste generation, yes, is going to be my aspect. What is going to be my impact? Landfill pollution is going to be my impact, and resource depletion is going to be my aspect. Here, my next question is going to be whether you have been aware about this, how you have been monitoring, how you are going to reduce this. So we have to have a proper planning for that. Even, okay, water usage can be your aspect, impact, water depletion, or water pollution. Here, whenever I'm going to talk about water usage, as an organization, you have to give me a data in saying that this, okay, this much of liters we have been using, okay, we have been using waters. Water depletion, if we are going to know what is my consumption, then only I can able to take a lot of steps to reduce it, on how we can be able to recycle the water also. So make sure that, okay, same thing here. Emission, air pollution is going to be my aspect. The impact is going to be my respiratory health issues is going to be the impact towards the youth. So these are different kind of examples which I have been given you based on the aspect and impact. But my submission here is, okay, in this slide is, always make sure that whenever we are going to talk about these aspects and impacts, whether you have been having a proper mechanism to capture this aspect and impacts or not. Yes, everybody, we can able to tell that this is the aspect and this is the impact. But how well you have been aware, you have been having a monitoring system to tell that I'm going to have a mechanism to capture the data, and I'm having a proper plan to ensure that I'm going to reduce the consumption, or I'm going to maintain the same thing. So you have to have a plan for that. This is going to be your objective also. Again, I can able to tell you a golden link, which you can able to use while you are preparing your ISO 14001. This form, you can able to straight away, you can able to link with your objectives. So this aspect and impact analysis, how this aspect and impact analysis can be done, what are the things can be given as output while you are going to have this aspect and impact. While you are going to have this aspect and impact, this aspect and impact is going to give you the context, what are going to be your internal and what are going to be your external factors, and also the risk which is being associated with each aspect. That is very important. Based on the aspects which you have been identified, the risk chart can be listed out. The risk chart will be a more related one to your industries. And then you can able to analyze the impacts. Based on the aspects, next you are going to analyze the impacts, whether this aspect is going to be a positive one or is going to be a negative one. Next, you are going to prioritize the aspect. Why we are going to prioritize the aspect? Based on this only, I have to take a decision. For this aspect, I'm going to ensure that I'm going to have a proper planning. I'm going to have a proper planning, okay, in such a way that how to countermeasure the impact which is being created by this aspect. So prioritize the aspect, and you have to develop a risk treatment plan. So first, while you are going to understand, capture the aspect in 360-degree, make sure that whether it is the internal or the external factors, and then you identify the risk associated with that aspect. Next, you analyze the impact which has been created based on this aspect. Then prioritize the aspect based on the impact. Then you can be able to develop your risk treatment plan. What is risk treatment plan? Yes, I identify it is as an aspect. On not all the aspects can be eliminated, or not all the aspects can be accepted. So you have to have a risk treatment plan. Very important thing, my dear friends. After this session, you go and see your manual, or you go and see your ESG reporting system or ISO 14001. Whether you are having a risk treatment plan, you have to have a solid proof, solid mechanism driving you, stating that I identified this risk in this, okay, in this area, I've been identify this aspect, how well I'm going to handle this, whether I'm going to accept, whether I'm going to share, I'm going to mitigate, or I'm going to eliminate. The risk associated with this aspect, it should be clearly, okay, it should be clearly, we have to have a solid proof which has to be accepted by my top management. Next, we are going to monitor, okay, we are going to implement the risk treatment plan, and you are going to monitor that whether the risk is being mitigated or not, risk associated with that aspect. Yes, I've been having a plan whether I'm going to ensure, okay, I'm going to ensure that whether I'm going to implement the right plan or not. Then the last step, you are going to communicate, or you are going to consult to your shareholders, your interested parties, the actions which you have been taken with respect to this aspect. So whenever you're going to talk about this aspect and impact analysis, all this plays a very, very, very major role. It's not only, as I told you, we are going to capture the risk. No. After capturing the risk, what are the things I have to do? I have to do all these steps to ensure that my aspect and impacts have been analyzed in a right way to contribute, okay, to contribute to your organization. Next, aspect and impacts revision. Very important thing. Whenever you are going for audits, we will ask, okay, the audit is when you have been revised your aspect and impacts. They told that no, we have been having a practice that we have to revise this aspect and impacts on a recertifications only. No, it's not like that. Make sure that all these parameters are very important. Whenever there is a change in the operation, whenever there is a regulatory updates, whenever my pollution control board has been changing something, whenever you have been getting a feedback from your stakeholders stating that this is the thing which we have been not doing in a right way, means we are not having a revised plan for my aspect and impacts. Next, emerging issues. What is the emerging issues now? My dear friends, now, okay, in this summer, when I've been visiting the factories, the industries for trainings or for the audits, I'll be very keen. I've been asking the peoples, have you captured this aspect, the environment? Okay, because our meteorological department is being keen. They are informing that this summer is going to be hardest for all. So in many of the shop floors which I've been went on, I can able to feel that the temperature is very much higher. Very much higher, even the past 7 years, this is going to be the highest temperature has been recorded. So how well we have been prepared for this emerging issue? Is it right? So make sure that whenever you are going to have emerging issues also, it is my responsibility that this aspect and impact register has been implemented, has been updated. Whenever there is going to be the merge, whenever you are going to have some acquisition, whenever you are going to have, okay, merging some, okay, some of your products, some of your services, you are going to acquire some new product or new industries. At that time also, this aspect and impact has to be done. This aspect and impact is not only we have to consider also for your continual improvement also. We have to always, okay, ensuring that you have been revising this aspect and impact. So I will have a pass here. Okay, I will have a pass here. If you have any doubts, you can able to ask. Any doubts regarding this aspect and impact?
Satya, good morning.
Very good morning, sir.
For the aspect and impact study, and after that, see, for example, if I am taking some wastewater,
okay,
so I do recycle and I again use for my other purpose.
Okay.
Now for the second application, I have to do again aspect impact study.
No, so here that is one part, but before you are going for aspect and impact study for the water which you have been recycled, that is one part. But before that, you have to ensure, you have to give me evidence stating that whether the action which you have been done is effective or not, effectiveness. The recycled water, whether it is effective or not. How I can able to tell whether it is effective or not? As per your risk treatment plan.
Okay.
After recycled also is going to be have some risk. But
Hmm.
you have to ensure that as per your risk treatment plan, you have been guided, you have been handled that aspects, and if the effectiveness is being proved, then the second step, as you rightly told, we have to go that again you have to put the aspect and impact for the water which you have been going to use for the other application.
Other people. Okay. Okay. Right. Understood. Thanks. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Any other doubts? Okay, I got a question from our YouTube. Okay. Yes, actually, as I've been telling you, this aspect and impact plays a very major role whenever you are going to frame your ISO 14001 documents. Again, I'm telling you like that because getting certification alone is not going to be the main objective of us, but make sure that how will this ISO 14001 manual it is been guiding. That is the most important aspect of us. So always make sure that how well it is being used, all these standards which we have been using on, how well it is being used for the guidance of our organization. Next, visionary aspects and the impacts. How we can able to link this aspect and impact with your vision. Your aspect and impacts, whenever it is being done in a right way, always it has the values to enhance your positive impacts. So, right, other organization may not understand what is their positive impacts at all. They can't be able to capture, they can't be able to build values on this. They may not do. Next, your aspect and impacts is being okay. Your aspect and impacts is a guiding element for your objectives. ISO 14001 objectives, your aspect and impact is going to be the major one. And this aspect and impact is going to give you a framework in your organization where you are going to measure and how you are going to monitor and what are the elements you have been measuring and monitoring. For that, the answer is based on your aspect and impact only. And also you are going to train and educate your employee based on this aspect and impact. Based on the collaboration partners, also whenever the collaboration partners, I can able to give you one example. In future, in future already some of the firms in Bangalore, some of the firms in Pune have been started this. Whenever they are going to create a new venture, they are asking that how social responsible you are. Are you using a recycled paper? How much the contribution you are towards this environment? So all this is going to be the part because as I told you, in ESG, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3 is there. So for that, everyone started this moment. So this aspect and impact is also going to give us a guide that who is going to be our collaborators. Your collaborators are going to play a very vital role. For this is going to be a visionary document. So as a conclusion part, I feel that this aspect and impact analysis empowers organization to minimize environmental risk and is also going to convert this risk into an opportunity and drive sustainability for better future. If you are going to talk about sustainability, environmental sustainability, make sure that this aspect and impact have been captured in a very, very, very right way. Now, ISO 59000, for circular economy, we got a new standard. Our R&D team has been working on this standard. Sure, in the coming days, we can able to meet with this standard also. If you have any doubts, always you can able to put in the chat box. Thank you all. Thank you for your cooperation. I can able to share, give me a minute. I can able to share the feedback links so that you can able to get the presentations and also you can also get this video link